What's up, my fellow Division 2 agents? Welcome back to the channel. It's D Werewolf Gaming back with another Division 2 video. Alright, so today, guys, I got another Merciless build to showcase, guys, because, I put out a video a couple of days ago showcasing a build using the Merciless, and I really enjoyed that build. And in that video, guys, I did use the modifiers just to show how good this weapon was this season. And, of course, this gun has some issues. For example, the explosion that comes on this gun, it doesn't really affect any other nearby enemies. This gun would be definitely amazing if that explosion really affected other enemies nearby. But overall, it's still a very fun gun to use, in my opinion. With that being said, guys, so I wanted to show you another different build that you can put together using this particular gun. Like I said, because when I got it, guys, the gun mainly just stayed in my stash because of the recoil and weapon stability was so horrible. Didn't really enjoy using it. With that being said, guys, Division 2 has so many variety when it comes to build diversity that there are many ways to put any build together, guys. And then if it works for your gameplay, then that's great. With that being said, so I'm gonna show you a little bit of gameplay. Just now I was using the modifiers, guys, but overall we're gonna go over the build breakdown, and then the next after the build breakdown, guys, we'll show you some more gameplay. And in that gameplay, I will not be using any modifiers because I know a lot of gamers don't really care for the modifiers. So overall, I'm giving you another way to use the Merciless, guys, just to show you that this gun is pretty fun to use, in my opinion. With that being said, I do want to give a big thank you to everyone that continues to support me on my channel, especially those who always have something positive to say, guys. All right, so for this build, like I said, guys, the Merciless is the start of the show, and the inscription reads, some people say I lack empathy. They're wrong. What I lack is mercy. Zodiac Hyenas Council member. All right, the core stats on this gun is 235.22k with an RPM of 434 in the magazine. Headshot damage of 108%, guys, and I did have a weapon expertise of 15%. That 15% bonus extra weapon damage with the core attributes being fully maxed out with 15% rifle damage, 17% critical hit damage, and 10% damage to target out of cover. The talent on this gun is what really makes it amazing, guys. This weapon fires on a trigger pull and release. If both bullets hit the same enemy, you gain a stack. At 7 stacks, shooting an enemy deals 500% amplified damage and creates a 7-meter explosion, dealing 500% weapon damage, consuming the stack. See, the problem is, guys, that 7-meter explosion doesn't really do any damage to the nearby enemies. I've noticed that in the gameplay, but the mods that do come in this gun, guys, is 15% accuracy, 10% reload speed, with 15% weapon handling, and a 15% stability mod as well. All right, the secondary weapon, guys, usually before I did use the mop gun because I enjoy having a shotgun, so those enemies get close. As you can see, guys, total damage 806.85k. With the expertise being 12% weapon damage. The core attributes on this gun, I do have 15% shotgun damage, 12% damage to armor, and 10% armor on a kill. That comes automatic on this particular gun, guys. You cannot take that off, which I really enjoy. It gives you a little bit more survivability, especially when playing harder content in this game. All right, for the talent, I did have preservation, guys. Killing the enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds. Headshot kills improve the repair by an additional 10%. The mods I did have was 20% reload speed, with 5% critical hit chance mods on it as well. All right, yeah, sidearm didn't really matter, guys. Use whatever sidearm you prefer. And for the gear set, guys, I'm not going to even try to pronounce this name, guys. But it is, let's just go with the Breather set, call it that. And 2 pieces gives you plus 15% magazine size with 20% rifle damage. Now, as you can see, everything I got is got a critical hit chance or critical hit damage, with the core attribute being 15% weapon damage. All right, for the chest piece, guys, there will be a little bit of flexibility because I was changing this out. Now, the Palisade chest piece, guys, is amazing because it gives you 10% armor back on the kill. And I did have an armor core of 170k with everything being out of critical hit chance or critical hit damage. As you can see, guys, the goal is to get as much critical hit chance and critical hit damage on this build. And so the talent is what is amazing as well, guys. It goes in correlation with the critical hit chance or critical hit damage, but it's ability rate and critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. The stacks up to 20 times, so you basically get up to 20% bonus weapon damage whenever you get your stacks up to 20. All right, so the other chest piece, guys, is you could have went with the Providence because I do have on Providence set as well. And whenever I put on the third piece, so this chest piece here, the Providence, the third piece, it does give me my full 3-piece set bonus, which would be the 13% headshot damage, 8% critical hit chance, and 13% critical hit damage. As you can see, everything is focused on critical hit chance and critical hit damage. But that third attribute in the middle, guys, is that 8% weapon handling, which is great, guys, because the Merciless has horrible stability and recoil. So that 8% worked pretty good. And the talent on this chest piece as well is obliterated as well. So, like I said, I was going back and forth, but whenever I do use this chest piece, I'm not getting that 10% armor back on the kill, and I'm also losing a little bit of armor. So ultimately, I kind of go back and forth on this, guys, depending on what situation I'm playing and what level of content I am playing. So this is another alternative if you don't have that Palisade chest piece. All right, and I mentioned this before, but the Coyote's Mask, if you're struggling to get that critical hit chance and critical hit damage, the Coyote's Mask works great, guys, because it gives you bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you kill. The talent is called Pack Instincts, and as you can see, guys, on this particular mask, it's all about the damage. So everything is basically out of critical hit chance or critical hit damage. All right, and the talent again is Pack Instincts. You basically gain a damage bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you kill. From 0 to 15 meters, you're getting 25% critical hit damage. 15 to 25, you're getting 10% critical hit chance and 10% critical hit damage. 25 meters and further on out, guys, you're getting 25% critical hit chance. So that was another alternate as well. I do use that from time to time as well. I did go with the holster, the Providence holster, guys, and as you can see, you got an armor core with critical hit chance and critical hit damage. The Fox Prayers, guys, in any rifle build is amazing in my opinion, but you're getting 10% rifle damage. And that middle attribute is what we're really going for with that 8% damage to target out of cover. Did have a 6% critical hit chance, my attribute as well. All right, and I did go with the Eagle's Grasp, which is the main version of that particular set, guys. And I had an armor core with and the main thing is that 15% weapon handling. You definitely need that when using the Merciless. And I did have a 6% critical hit chance attribute as well. Pack, guys, the third piece is the Providence, and the name of it is called a gift. So if you don't have the gift backpack, guys, you can use the Devil Providence backpack you got, guys, and just make sure you change the third that talent on it. The inscription reads, after only everything has been taken, can you begin to give when the vessel is full. All right, and as you can see, everything is out of critical hit chance, critical hit damage. The talent is what makes it great. It's called Perfect Vigilance. This increases total weapon damage by 25%, but taking damage disables this buff for 3 seconds. Guys, that 3 seconds goes back so fast that you won't even notice it. Really amazing for any type of damage build. All right, for the skills, I did have a Reviver Hive with the Striker Zone, and that is basically what I use whenever I'm not using the modifiers. So we'll show you what I use when I am using modifier. But you know, that Reviver Hive give you a second life, and the Striker Zone is more of a distraction type skill, guys, and it also does a little bit of damage as well. All right, so the modifiers I did use whenever I was using the modifiers, guys, were my favorite modifier. The active one is the Overdrive, because you're getting that 30% weapon damage, 30% skill damage, and 30% increased rate of fire with unlimited ammo. All right, for the passive, I do got critical recover. Critical hits recover 0.5% of your max armor. Microwave coils, guys, pulse enemies each have a 50% chance of being affected by burn. Up to 4 enemies at a time, you gain 5% bonus momentum for every enemy that is burning. And rig battery as well, guys. Player drones that are destroyed or dismantled will shock 2 nearby enemies, and you will receive 5% bonus momentum for every hostile that is shot. All right, and whenever I was using the modifiers, guys, I do prefer using the tactician drone, and we will go over that more. It is definitely for the sharpshooter specialization, but what it basically does, guys, is it scans and pulse enemies within that area. It sends the information back to your HUD, and that's what will allow to keep that burn status effect going. All right, so let's look at the weapon stats. Did have as you can see, critical hit chance was right there at 60%, with critical hit damage being 134%. That is on the Merciless. And as you can see, guys, didn't matter which weapon I used, I did maintain that 60% critical hit chance, which is the cap, and that's what I was going for in this build. And headshot damage on the Merciless was 108%. So as you can see, guys, this build, constant critical hit chance and pretty good critical hit damage as well. And that was the goal on this particular setup. But the armor on this build is pretty good, decent in my opinion. Whenever you use the Palisade chest piece, they have 1,292,444 armor with 129,245 armor back on the kill. That is becoming coming from that chest piece as well. So, like I said, you get a little bit more survivability because the sharpshooter specialization does not give you any armor back on the kill. All right, so let's go over the sharpshooter specialization really quick, guys. One thing about the specialization is great. You will see is that you will have 15% increase in weapon stability, reduced recoil, and faster requisition of your targets. So you'll be able to hit those targets a lot faster. All right, for the armor kit, guys, it does repair 100% armor. Also removes status effects and increases your resistance to bleed, poison, and burn for 20 seconds. All right, and you will have a bonus of 15% increase in headshot damage whenever you're using rifles or marksman rifles, and it allows for precision kills. So, like I said, guys, that passive is amazing on rifle and marksman rifle builds. One other thing to point out is you will have access to the tactician drone. And like I said, guys, that is what you really need, especially whenever you're using modifiers. But it basically scouts and marks hostile targets, feeding them to the agent and other allies in the group HUD. That way you know where the enemies are at, guys. And also it is posting those enemies as well, which will apply the burn status effect. Just make sure you got the correct weapon element equipped, guys. It doesn't matter which weapons you're using, but you will get that bonus and 15% increase in whatever weapon element that you do have equipped. All right, guys, if you like the build, let's give it a thumbs up. Thank you for your valuable time as always and stopping by. Really appreciate those who always have something positive to say, guys. All right, if you like the gameplay, guys, stick around. I do got a little bit more gameplay for those who enjoy watching the gameplay. And the gameplay I will showcase next will be without using the modifiers. That way, the show, because I know a lot of gamers don't really care for using the modifiers, so I wanted to show a little bit of gameplay with the modifiers and without the modifiers, just to show you that this build does work. Don't really matter which way you play with it, guys. And and as usual, I've said this multiple times, I will cut out the areas when I'm just traveling from one location to the next, just to save time and keeping the video from being too long, especially when you're showcasing the same old content over and over. With that being said, I really appreciate each and every one of you for your valuable time as always. Be Werewolf out.
Connection established. DC.
They're in the basement! How many zombies there?
Samples detected. You should be able to access the
Spread out and search for it.
The outcast using blood from an asymmetric.
If she's an ace.
The DCD's data analysis lab is just ahead. See what data you can grab for Kelso. Disk transfer initiated. Be careful.
And I'll let you answer to Emily personally.